So imagination is reality and you are God. I'm sure you've heard this before, and people will explain it through quantum physics, or, even myself, I've tried to explain it through the lens that you're not your body or your thoughts or your emotions. What you truly are is consciousness. But something that I found is that this concept doesn't really work as a concept. It's something that has to be experienced. And when you can experience this, then your manifestations become easier, they become more effortless, they just become the natural next step in your life. When a desire comes up, you naturally move towards it. So I want to share how you can start to gain this experience so that you can know the difference, experience the difference between the I am that you are and your ego. Because when you're manifesting from your ego, what you're going to do is you're going to place conditions on your desires. And when you manifest from the truth that you are, from your I am, your desires aren't going to have any conditions. They're going to be something you can hold within yourself with purity rather than conditions. So manifesting from ego, manifesting with conditions can look like this. We'll use, financial freedom as an example. So let's say you want financial freedom, but you're manifesting from your ego. What's going to happen is you're going to, look at this desire, financial freedom, and you're going to start thinking, well, not everybody gets this. This is hard to achieve. It's uncommon, it's rare. What if people judge me for what I want to do? What if I fail? And even if I do pursue this, then there's all of these other things that are going to have to fall into place. Your ego is going to place a ton of conditions on any desire you have and turn it into a chore, and ultimately you're going to settle for something less. Rather than financial freedom, maybe it'll be a good salary. And we could look at health, for example. Rather than, being able to move your body freely, maybe you'll end up settling for less pain in your day-to-day life. But when you manifest from the truth of who you are, when you manifest from I am, from the way, from the light, from the source that you are, those conditions aren't going to be there. You're going to hold the desire like financial freedom within yourself with purity, because there's no past explaining why or why it might not happen. There's no future to justify why or when it needs to happen or how likely it is. When you manifest from your I am, when you experience yourself as God, not think of yourself as God, but experience it, those desires, they're inevitable. You can hold it within you without conditions. Financial freedom is just financial freedom, and you're free to experience it here and now. You don't have to justify it, you don't have to work towards it. You get to know and understand financial freedom because as God, when you experience yourself as God, you can move as the source to the desire. You don't need to justify it or explain why financial freedom, or how, or when. It's simply financial freedom. No strings attached, no conditions. So, now that we've said all of that, how can you start to grow this experience of God within you? How can you begin to awaken to the truth of who you are? And really, it's simple. All there is to it is stillness and silence and presence. Really, it's just presence. So, right now, you don't have to stop watching this video. You don't have to stop doing anything that you're doing. But just be present in this moment. Forget about the future. Forget about the past. Forget about what may or may not be happening on the other side of the world, or, what your neighbors or friends or family might be doing. Forget about then or there, and just notice here. And once you're here, notice the silence within you and notice the emptiness within you. That silent, empty space is where you can experience God. where you can experience yourself as God, where your I am is resting. And then that's all there is to it. And the more you explore it, the more you experience it, the more it's going to grow, and the more you're going to be able to make the distinction between who you truly are and your ego. You're no longer going to be identifying with the problems that you come up with. You're not going to have to solve anything to get anywhere. You're going to have a desire, and you're going to experience it here and now, and you will take actions, you will do things, you will, get from point A to point B, but that won't be the cause, and it won't be a set of trials you have to overcome. Your ego will no longer have to prove itself. It'll just be along for the ride with you. The ego can be viewed in a negative light in a lot of spiritual communities, and, for good reason. It's where your suffering comes from. It's what we add on to the world, but it's also how we find our place in the world. I couldn't be making these videos. I wouldn't have, the desire to even want to make these videos without it. But it wasn't my ego that got me moving through here, because on the other hand, I had a desire to make videos, but I also had fear of failure, what are people going to think of me kind of thoughts. But when you move from the I am that you are, none of that stuff is going to matter as much. And the more you rest in that presence and stillness and silence, the more you're going to notice the distinction between who you are and your ego. Now, if this is something you want to dive deeper into, check out my Mystic Manifestation community on School. But with all of that being said, I think that's all I have for this video. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.